There are moments in life when your heart feels heavy, when every dua you've whispered, every tear you've shed in sujud seems to echo back in silence. You look at others moving forward, getting the job, the marriage, the house, the healing, and you wonder, oh Allah, what about me? You begin to ask yourself, did I do something wrong? Have I been forgotten? But I want you to pause and listen, not with your ears, but with your heart. Because what you call a delay, Allah calls a preparation. What you call waiting, Allah calls training. What you call silence, Allah calls mercy. Sometimes, Allah withholds what you think you want, not to punish you, but to protect you. He closes a door because the timing is not right, or because behind that door is something that would break you in ways you don't yet see. Allah delays not because He is deaf to your tears, but because He is crafting something far greater than your imagination could ever hold. And when that moment finally comes, when His wisdom unfolds before your eyes, you'll realize that every unanswered prayer was never a denial. It was a redirection towards something better. So today, I want to take you on a journey, not of despair, but of hope. Because when Allah delays, He's not denying you, He's preparing you. When Allah delays, it's never without reason. It's not an oversight. It's not neglect. It's divine wisdom unfolding in ways you can't yet see. When something you deeply desire doesn't happen as quickly as you hoped, your heart feels tested. You start questioning, why me? Why now? But in reality, that delay is a sacred form of purification. It's Allah preparing your soul for what He already wrote for you. Something pure, something elevated, something meant for your growth. The delay is not a stop, it's a transformation. Every delay is a mirror that shows you what still lives within your heart. It reveals impatience, fear, and the illusion of control. And that's why Allah pauses your story, to purify it. He doesn't want you to enter the next chapter carrying the same weaknesses, attachments, and doubts that could destroy you later. So He withholds, not to punish, but to polish. He removes what doesn't serve you so that when His decree finally arrives, you can handle it with gratitude, not entitlement. Think about the people who rushed into things before they were ready. A rushed decision can destroy a heart. A rushed marriage can break a home. A rushed success can destroy faith. But Allah loves you too much to let that happen. When He delays, He is protecting you from what you think you want until you are ready for what you truly need. Every not yet from Allah is an invitation to grow, to reflect, to become more patient, more sincere, more trusting. It's easy to want quick answers, but imagine the kind of person you become in the waiting. Someone who no longer depends on the world for reassurance, but turns directly to Allah for peace. That's what the delay does. It teaches you that sustenance doesn't come from people or timing. It comes from the one who holds both. It builds the kind of heart that can say, even in uncertainty, "Oh, I know Allah is doing what's best for me." The delay purifies not just your intention, but your relationship with Allah. Because in that waiting, you learn to love Him without conditions. You stop seeing Him as a provider of things and start seeing Him as the source of peace itself. You begin to realize that sometimes the greatest gift is not the thing you're waiting for, but who you become while waiting. So if you're in a season of waiting, don't rush out of it. Don't let impatience make you settle for something lesser than what Allah has written for you. Understand that this waiting is sacred ground, where your soul is being refined, your faith is being strengthened, and your heart is being aligned with divine timing. The delay is not your punishment, it's your preparation. Allah is not withholding your blessing. He's building your capacity to receive it fully. Trust that when it finally comes, you'll look back and realize the delay was the most beautiful part of the journey. True faith isn't proven when life flows smoothly and everything aligns with your plans. It's proven in those moments when nothing seems to go your way, when your prayers echo back in silence, when your plans collapse before your eyes, and when every door you knock on stays closed. That's when the strength of your iman is truly revealed, because faith isn't about believing when you can see, it's about trusting when you can't. It's standing firm in the middle of uncertainty, knowing that even if the path is dark, Allah's hand is still guiding you. When Allah delays something you desperately want, it's easy to start doubting. The whispers of Shaitan creep in. Maybe Allah doesn't love you. Maybe your dua isn't being heard. But those are lies meant to shake your heart. The truth is, Allah's silence is never absence. His delay is never neglect. It's a divine test to separate those who believe only when it's easy from those who believe when it's hard. The Prophet said that the strongest of believers are those who are tested the most. Why? Because tests don't break faith, they reveal it. Look at the story of Prophet Yusuf. He was thrown into a well by his own brothers, sold as a slave, and then unjustly imprisoned for years. To any human eye, it would seem like Allah had delayed his justice, delayed his freedom, delayed his dream. But every delay was a step closer to purpose. If Yusuf had been freed early, he would have returned to an ordinary life. But because Allah delayed, Yusuf emerged not as a prisoner, but as a ruler, a man of wisdom, mercy, and authority. His delay was not denial, it was elevation. That's what true faith looks like. The ability to keep trusting even when there's no visible reason to. When you raise your hands in dua and see no change, but you keep praying anyway. When you keep smiling through tears, saying, Alhamdulillah, even as your heart aches, that's faith. That's what Allah loves to see in His servant. a heart that refuses to give up on Him. Faith during delay isn't passive. It's active surrender. It's saying, Allah, I don't understand, but I still trust you. I don't see the wisdom yet, but I know you're working in ways I can't see. That level of submission transforms your entire outlook. Suddenly, delays stop feeling like punishment and start feeling like divine timing. You realize that Allah isn't making you wait because you're unworthy. He's making you wait because He's writing something worth the wait. So hold on. Keep believing when it's hard. Keep trusting when it doesn't make sense, because the delay you're in is not a sign that Allah has abandoned you. It's a sign that He is preparing something extraordinary for you. And when that moment finally arrives, you'll look back and understand that your faith during the waiting was the very thing that brought the blessing to life. When Allah delays, He's building something within you far greater than the thing you're waiting for. Every moment of waiting, every night of unanswered prayers, every season of stillness, it's not wasted. It's shaping you. Because the truth is, ease doesn't build you. Struggle does. Growth doesn't come in moments of comfort. It comes in moments of patience. And Allah, in His mercy, delays not to frustrate you, but to strengthen you. He knows that if He gave you what you asked for too soon, it might break you instead of bless you. So He waits, not because you're not worthy, but because you're not ready yet. Every delay is a classroom, and Allah is the teacher. Through the lessons of waiting, He develops your endurance, your gratitude, your emotional maturity, and your understanding of life. When you face repeated disappointments, you learn to stand firm. When you lose what you thought you couldn't live without, you discover that your strength was never in that thing. It was in your connection to Allah. When you walk through uncertainty, you start realizing that every step was already written with precision. And the waiting transforms you from someone who needs control into someone who trusts the controller. Think about how iron becomes steel. It must go through fire. The heat doesn't destroy it, it strengthens it. The same is true for you. The delay you're facing isn't there to burn you, it's there to build you. Allah is refining your patience, your gratitude, and your resilience. He's removing fear and replacing it with faith. He's showing you that your worth isn't tied to what you receive, but to who you become in the process. And when you finally reach the blessing, you'll understand why the waiting had to happen first. Because the version of you that started the journey wouldn't have been able to carry the weight of that blessing. But the version of you who emerges after the waiting, stronger, wiser, grounded in faith, will handle it with grace and gratitude. Many people ask for success, but they're not ready for the responsibility it brings. Many ask for love, but their hearts aren't yet healed enough to give it purely. Many ask for freedom, but haven't yet learned discipline. That's why Allah delays. He's preparing you to receive without losing yourself in the process. He's building your inner foundation so that when He finally gives, you'll be able to hold the blessing and not let it control you. So instead of asking, why is Allah delaying me? Ask, what is Allah building in me? That shift changes everything. You start seeing every setback as training, every disappointment as growth, and every delay as proof that Allah hasn't forgotten you. He's investing in you. Because when Allah delays, He's not slowing your journey down. He's strengthening your soul for the destination ahead. And when it comes, you'll realize the waiting was not a pause in your life. It was the process that made you ready for it. Sometimes Allah delays not because He wants to withhold a blessing, but because He wants to draw you closer to Him before you receive it. There are seasons in life when the delay feels like a test, but in reality, it's an invitation to return, to reflect, to reconnect with your Creator. When things don't happen on your timeline, it's Allah's gentle way of saying, come back to me. Let me prepare your heart before I give you what you're asking for. Because what's the use of receiving a blessing if your heart is distant from the one who gave it? Delays have a way of softening us. When everything seems stuck, our hearts naturally turn upward. We start to pray more, cry more, and seek forgiveness more. We begin to whisper du'as in sujud that we never said before. In the waiting, we realize how powerless we are and how much we need Allah's mercy. And maybe that's the whole purpose of the delay, to bring you back to that place of humility, where your dependence is not on outcomes, but on the one who controls them. Allah knows that sometimes, if He were to give you what you want too soon, you might forget Him once you have it. You might attach your happiness to the gift rather than the giver. So, He pauses your plans to reorient your heart. He delays so you can rediscover the sweetness of relying on Him alone. That closeness you build during waiting, the tears, the late-night prayers, the renewed faith, those are treasures that last longer than any worldly blessing ever could. Every delay is a reminder that the true goal is not the thing you're waiting for. It's the connection you build with Allah while waiting. Because blessings fade, but a heart that truly knows its Lord never loses peace. The delay purifies your intentions, forcing you to ask, do I want this thing more than I want Allah? And if the answer is yes, then the delay becomes a mercy. It's Allah rescuing you from loving something more than you love Him. Through the delay, Allah writes a deeper story in your life. One that's not about speed, but about sincerity. The longer you wait, the more you talk to Him. The more you talk to Him, the more your heart softens. The more your heart softens, the closer you get to Him. And when the blessing finally arrives, you won't just thank Him for giving it. You'll thank Him for the waiting that brought you closer. So if you find yourself in a delay right now, see it not as distance, but as divine nearness. This is your time to return, to reconnect, to rebuild your bond with the One who never leaves. Because when Allah delays, it's not a punishment. It's protection. It's His way of preparing not just your life, but your heart. And when that heart finally aligns with His plan, the blessing won't just come. It will come beautifully at the perfect time, wrapped in His mercy. Every delay from Allah carries a message, a reminder that His plan is never late and His timing is never wrong. When you look back one day, you'll see that the very moments you thought were pauses were actually the most sacred parts of your journey. The waiting wasn't wasted. It was shaping you, purifying you, and drawing you closer to the One who loves you beyond measure. You'll realize that what felt like silence was actually preparation, that every closed door was redirection, and that every tear you cried was watering the seeds of something beautiful that Allah was growing in secret. So don't lose hope in the waiting. Don't let impatience steal your peace. Allah has heard every dua you've ever made. He knows every desire that rests quietly in your heart. He hasn't forgotten you. He's preparing you. And when His decree finally unfolds, it will come in a way that makes you say, Subhanallah, this was worth every second of waiting. Trust that the delay is part of the mercy. Have faith that the waiting is part of the answer. Because what Allah delays, He never denies. He perfects. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to be reminded of Allah's perfect timing. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, so more hearts can be reminded that every delay is just Allah's way of preparing something extraordinary.